أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I welcome you all to our Madrasa course, and inshallah today we will be doing chapter 8 from our book 5, Surah Al-Qari'ah, the striking hour. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Al-Qari'ah. ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالإحن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية. In the name of Allah, most kind, most merciful. Al-Qari'ah is the striking hour. What is the striking hour? And what will make you know what the striking hour is? It is the day when people will be like moths scattered about, and the mountains will be like wool fluffed up. As for him whose scales are heavy with good deeds, he will live a pleasant life. But as for him whose scales are light, he will have his home in Al-Haviyah. And what will make you know what it is? It is a blazing fire. So this again is about the afterlife and the day of judgment, and a very to the point surah where it's directly talking us about the striking hour, and just two lines about what would be happening to the mountains on that day. They would be just like wool on fluffed up on that day, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directly telling us that whose scales are heavy, they will have a pleasant life, and whose scales are light, their home is in the blazing fire. So the surah was revealed in Makkah. It again consists of 11 brief verses, very brief. The surah paints a vivid and fearful picture of the day of resurrection, which is here called Al-Qari'ah, the striking hour, the knocking or pounding one. So Al-Qari'ah is the striking hour. Al-Qari'ah is one of the names of the Day of Judgment. It has this name because it strikes hearts and ears with its frightening events. On that day, there will be an ear-splitting blast, and people will be scattered about like moths or locusts. They will be bewildered at what is happening to them. Even the mighty mountains on that day will become like carded wool that has begun to wear out and be torn apart. So on the day of judgment, mountains will be blown away, and people will rush out of their graves and go in different directions like insects. So this is just giving us an idea, just a brief picture of the day of resurrection, and not to forget not that there will be also an ear-splitting blast on that day. On that day, the scales will be set up, and everyone's deeds will be weighed on these special scales in Allah's court of justice. So Allah's court of justice, that will happen on the day of judgment, wherein, as we studied in Surah Al-Adiyat, even an atom's weight of good will be rewarded, and even an atom's weight of evil will be punished. So that is how perfect Allah is, how perfect Allah's justice is. So on that day, people will be of two types: those whose good deeds outweigh their evil deeds, and who will therefore be commanded to enter paradise. So their good deeds are more. Those whose evil deeds outweigh their good deeds. So, as for those who have their evil deeds more, they will be commanded to enter the fire of hell. So, the lesson that we learn here is that we do not benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we obey Him, and we don't harm Him when we disobey Him. So we only benefit ourselves when we are doing good deeds, and we are harming ourselves when we are falling into evil deeds. So when that day comes, people will recall what they had been doing in this life. Good people will be given their records of deeds in their right hands, while the evil ones will receive theirs in their left hands. And the good people, their faces will be white with joy, and they will happily come and show us their records. They would be wanting to show it to everyone. And the evil ones, their faces would turn dark, and they would hide from everyone, and they would just hide away their record of deeds, and would just think that if at all they could hide it, or if at all they would never have done such evil things. So the records of deeds will reveal people's actions in this life. People will not be able to deny them. Okay, so nobody will be able to deny them, because that is, of course, their doing. All right, moving ahead with the exercises. Surah Al-Qari'ah, the striking R. Are the following statements true or false? Al-Qari'ah means the slanderer. No, this is false. The surah was revealed in Makkah. Yes, the surah was revealed in Makkah. So this is false. And this is true. Everyone's deeds will be weighed on that day. Of course, yes, this is true. It is a day on which people will be like moths scattered about. Yes, this also is true. So going ahead with answer these questions. Describe the two types of people who will be divided according to their deeds. This was also a chapter, this we also learned in our previous chapter, that is Adiyat. Again, two types of people, two types of groups: companions of the garden, companions of the hellfire, companions of the right hand, companions of the left hand. These are the two groups, two types of people. And then second one, mention some ways in which people will not be able to hide their bad actions. Okay, what are some ways in which people will not be able to hide their bad actions? Some ways. First of all, yes, it is the record of deeds. They would be never be able to hide whatever is in that, and that is definitely their list of bad deeds. So they will not be able to hide their bad actions. Then their faces, of course, will be not cheerful. They are not cheerful. They are not joyful. They would be distressed of what is going to happen next. So that would also show that they have a list of bad actions. They have the bad deeds more. And of course, their punishment, the result, the destination that they enter into their destination, their place of shelter would also be a way in which people will not be able to hide their bad actions, their list of bad actions. Okay, that's the end. So memorization, learn the surah by heart. Inshallah, try to memorize the surah. I know this is a little difficult surah to memorize, but yes, you will be rewarded for all your efforts, and inshallah, you will be able to memorize it quickly. So let's end the chapter here, and inshallah, we will meet again. Jazakallah khair. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.